You're stuck at sea and getting thirsty. Water fills the horizon, but you know you're not supposed to drink it. So, what would really happen to you if you did? And how can you find a way to get water? The danger in drinking salt water starts at the cell level. To keep their shape and stay healthy, your body's cells match the amount of certain ions, like salt, inside their membranes with the amount outside of them, in your bloodstream, for example. Seawater is about 4 times saltier than your blood, so when you drink it, the fluid outside your cells becomes much saltier. To fix the pressure difference that happens, water flows out of your cells. Your kidneys use this water to start removing the extra salt, but they need much more fresh water too. Actually wash it all out. Drinking enough seawater without any fresh water can lead to salt poisoning. The effects can be terrible as the body's cells lose water and shrink. This can cause tissues to move and tear and fluids to collect in important organs. Overall, drinking seawater only makes things worse. Survival depends on finding or making fresh water. In the 4th century BCE, Greek philosopher Aristotle described 2 main ways to remove salt from seawater, which are still used today. One is thermal, and it depends on heating seawater to make water vapor that turns into fresh water, a method ancient. Greek sailors used often. The other is reverse osmosis, which uses pressure to push seawater through a salt-blocking membrane, a process Aristotle wrote about with a sealed wax jar. In the thousands of years since then, people kept using and improving these methods. Making safe fresh water from seawater is a bigger project now than ever. Today, 2 billion people can't get clean drinking water, and 87 different countries, including many now seen as water-rich, are expected to become water-scarce by 2050. As of 2022, the world's largest desalination plant changed over 2 billion liters of salt water into drinkable fresh water every day, using mostly thermal technology. But this method has drawbacks. A lot of energy is needed to create the heat required, which is usually provided by fossil fuels. Thermal desalination plants also make a lot of waste in the form of brine, ultra-concentrated salt water that can be harmful if it is simply returned to natural bodies of water. Many people see more promise in reverse osmosis, which now uses synthetic membranes to filter out salt and other impurities. Overall, it uses less energy and makes less brine than thermal desalination. As of 2020, around 17,000 desalination plants supplied more than 300 million people with fresh water, most of them using reverse osmosis. Those numbers are growing, but waste, cost, efficiency, and sustainability are still big problems. More research is needed to make renewable-powered desalination plants energy and cost-effective on larger scales. Meanwhile, another kind of water looks promising in fighting water scarcity: wastewater. Reverse osmosis membranes actually need less energy to remove contaminants and the small amounts of salt found in wastewater than they do to remove salt from seawater. And, importantly, wastewater recycling operations still produce pure, safe drinking water. Okay, but back to the boat stuck at sea. First, a couple of dehydration don'ts. Drinking your own urine isn't recommended because a few days of filtering waste products that keep building up without any help from fresh water can cause kidney damage. And while it might feel strange, if you don't have any fresh water to drink, it's best not to eat, especially protein-rich food, because your body doesn't have enough water to digest it without becoming even more dehydrated. You can, however, work to get fresh water sources by using any water-soaking materials you can find to help collect rain and dew, and you could start a low-tech thermal desalination setup by letting seawater sit in the sun in containers and collecting the condensation. You can also try getting some water by drinking bird and turtle blood and fish spinal fluid and eyes. Maybe that sounds unpleasant, but desperate times might call for a mix of thirst-fighting methods.